Okay, it's time to follow the white rabbit again. I'm coming back to you. I'm filming all of these in one day, hopefully. If I have to do tomorrow, then so be it. We're going to get this done. We're doing this. I'm going all in, like we're going full force, okay? So, now, the video that I did before this was about the root chakra, okay? So, I covered a lot. I know I kind of was talking fast in the aspect because I was like, man, I got a lot of stuff to cover, and you know what? Just to even like do that whole lesson right there, there's a lot in there. So I covered Maslow's hierarchy of needs, what the root chakra blocked and overactive looks like, and what the root covers, as in like survival, stability, and all that. What's the main thing? Our root is, if you're trying to get money, that's a, big part. Now, I talked about trauma, and I talked about how all the trauma that we experience is down there. It stays, it settles in that area. It will accumulate in that area. And so, and it's not going to go anywhere until you do something about it. Sorry. Nobody's coming to save you. You need to work on your own crap. Okay? And if you put it on somebody else that they need to help you work on this, and I'm saying guys and girls alike, don't sit there and like use your trauma as a means of trying to get someone to be with you, because that is just low. That's a manipulation tactic. No. Do not sit there and be like, oh, please fix me. I'm broken. No, I don't think so. I personally do not want anyone to fix me. I just don't. Do I want someone to be there with me while I work on these things? Of course, it would be nice. Just haven't had anybody with me the whole time I've been working on it. Dated a few guys, and found out, that there were some things that they were still working on, and we just weren't gonna work out. I've been single for quite some time. Tried dating a few times, hasn't worked out. So, don't try and, manipulate someone to be with you because of your trauma. Just saying. That's low. And don't fall for it. Do not try to fix someone. Guys or girls, either one. It can go either way. That person does not need to be fixed. You let them be. You leave them alone. Okay? Leave them alone. You go work on yourself. If you're running around trying to fix people, you need to focus on you. You need to focus on you, boo. Okay? Just saying. Okay. Now we're going to get on to this one. Okay? When you are working on yourself, you are going to have a whole lot of triggers. You are going to be triggered consistently, constantly, and there are going to be triggers if you have anything like I do. I having severe childhood trauma due to being sex trafficked till the age of 12, there are things that I did not even know were going to be triggers that have come up. Okay? So you're going to have that. Realize as you're working on these things, it's okay. It's okay to be triggered. Triggers are a good thing, but it's not okay to take them out on other people. Okay? That's where we draw the line. Don't take it out on another person. Okay? Your triggers are yours. Just because somebody or something else triggers that in you, that creates that for you, does not give you the right to be upset at that person. They are just the means, they are just the innocent bystander. You need to work through this. And this is something that my children and I have both, worked with each other on. Sometimes another person will trigger something, a memory or something like that, and we work our best on not reacting, and eventually we have to come, like, if we do instantly react, we apologize and we sit there and we explain ourselves about it, but we don't blame that person. We actually talk about like what we were feeling and why we were feeling that, and that we will do better on not reacting that way. Because you have to realize why I'm even talking about this, why I'm bringing up your triggers and the whole, I guess they're not 4 F's, I'm sorry. They're now 5. I did not know there were 5. That's so cool. I learned something new today. There's 5 F's. Okay. Your body's response to these things. But I digress. Okay. So, I lost my train of thought, but that's okay. The train will come back eventually. So, we're going to just go into triggers. Okay. So, with the triggers, it's important to know that you have to, oh, the train came back. Choo choo. Okay. Don't mind me, am I crazy? With why I bring up triggers and emotional responses and all of that stuff and how we respond, realize that your emotional regulation is on you. It's not on somebody else. You learning how to emotionally regulate is a huge deal, okay? Huge deal. Because many of us are not taught how to regulate our emotions. Many times it's just chalked up to like, oh, that guy's having a bad day and he is throwing a fit. Case in example, at my new job, there is a guy that when he gets angry, he has full-on tantrums. He is a grown-ass man. He does not need to be having tantrums. He does not, and of course, he points it at being bipolar. Okay. But where do we draw the line on our symptoms and on what we have, like whether it's bipolar, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety? Where do we draw the line on pointing the finger at it and just blaming that and leaving it that? And where do we actually start picking up the slack and saying, okay, I have this thing, I'm taking the medication to regulate it, but I'm also working on being able to control it and to be able to know what is going to trigger it. That's the real thing that you have to understand, that if you want to level up in life, if you want to be a successful businessman or woman, if you want to have your own business, if you want to be able to work with other people, if you want to actually have generational wealth, those people that are really high class, those are people that know how to regulate their emotions. Realize that if you want to be able to get to the next level, and when I say the next level, I mean like if you want to be able to use stoicism and you want to be able to use Machiavelli and dark psychology and being able to outwit and outsmart people that are still toxic and choose to be toxic, you know, the really dark cluster B, I believe is what they're called, you know, the psychopaths, the sociopaths, the narcissists and stuff like that. All these people that know what they're doing and choose to do it, the predators out there. If you want to outsmart the predators, baby, you got to get control of your emotions. I'm just saying. You need to have control over how you respond and you react to any kind of trigger, whatever it may be. Okay? It's a skill that you have to consistently, it's not like you're going to pick it up and you're going to be amazing at it right away. It is a constant honing and fine-tuning and building of a muscle that you can get really good at. It's an art, really and truly. But you got to start at the bottom, okay? You got to learn the basics. It's kind of like with math in school. Whenever I was a 5th grade teacher, if you're doing math, if you want to get to multiplication and division and all of that, you first need to know what the numbers stand for, what they mean. You need to understand 1 + 1 = 2. You need to understand that 1 is the value of 1. Okay? 2, what it looks like, what the value is of it. All of that stuff. You need to understand this stuff because you cannot build up to multiplication and division and all of that stuff. You cannot get higher up. You can't get to calculus without understanding the very bottom basics. Okay? And so most people, I assume, know what these are. But sometimes it's really good to just go back over them so that you have them. Okay? It's really good. Okay. Now, I'm going to give the definition of what a trigger is because, we've heard the word before numerous times, but sometimes, it gets diluted in what the word actually stands for. That's just my alarm. Thank you. My daughter has work here in a little bit. So, a trigger is a sudden, intense, and keyword intense, because sometimes these triggers hit and you don't even know. You're just in it. Because sometimes if you have very deep, deep trauma, you're in an intense trigger and you don't even know that you're there. You're done. You're gone. You're not there. You're in it. You're in the feels. You're in the feels. Okay? So a sudden, intense, emotional or physical reaction such as anxiety, rage, or fear sparked by a reminder of past trauma or deeply upsetting experience. Okay. This is, you have to realize that your nervous system feels unsafe. And so therefore, you just automatically get thrown into one of these 5 F's. Okay? Trigger happens, you react in one of those 5 ways. Okay, I'm going to talk about each one of them here in a little bit, but we're going to stick with the trigger first, okay? So, with the trigger, when you get a trigger, let's go back to whenever I personally was living in the condo. I didn't know that I was triggered when I first even walked up to the condo. I did not remember at all. The memories were not there. It wasn't until later on, I would say, that it all came rushing back, because I personally was keeping myself busy by working nonstop to where I was not letting myself rest enough to even look at the trigger. My automatic response to the trigger was to just work, to avoid having to deal with it by throwing myself in work. Okay? Because when we are triggered, we will automatically go back to what is familiar with us. Okay? What we know and use to suppress the memory, because we use so many different things, whether it's a relationship, whether it's sex, whether it's food, whether it's drugs, whether it's drinking, whether it's avoidance, which, doom scrolling, whether it's, not having to deal with it, not actually sitting with it and analyzing it. Okay? You're going to get triggered. And for some people, it's even working. I will work like crazy, and then the moment that I rest, it all hit. So whenever I lost my job and I could not work, is whenever it all came rushing back to me, and that's whenever I had the mental breakdown due to all the trauma like hitting at once. So there were a lot of triggers that were coming at me, but I couldn't break them apart. I couldn't discern them. I couldn't like pinpoint just one, which was very difficult. So it was just a lot of intense anxiety, rage, and fear all at once. Just all at once. Which was really, really difficult, not gonna lie. So, some of the physical symptoms that you're gonna have is you're going to have a racing heart, fast heart. You're going to have shallow breathing, which means that you're not going to be able to like take a full deep belly breath, like the kind that you're just like in through your nose and out through your mouth. And one way for to counteract the shallow breathing, one technique that I love is the 4 square breathing, where you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and then hold for 4 seconds, and then do that. That's square breathing. On that one, for the teapot breathing is what my daughter calls it, that she learned, is that you breathe into your nose and then you blow out of your mouth like a teapot would do with steam. That's one. So I'm going to give you these little tips and tricks to work with these. A racing heart, that one right here, I gotta write that out or else it's gonna bother me. Okay. For the fast heart, you have to slow things down. To slow things down, you have to do your breathing. That's like everything is interconnected. So you're going to have the shallow breathing. You have to slow yourself down, and you have to breathe, and you have to concentrate, and you have to focus on your heart rate and getting it down. So that's like, you have to work on you. You have to focus on yourself, not what's happening around you, what's happening within you. You're going to have dizziness. You're going to have nausea. And you're going to have shaking. Now, whenever those are going to be your physical ones, okay? Whenever you have those, you have to realize that you have to get control of yourself, okay? The nausea, I know that my middle daughter has that one. Whenever she was going through her panic attacks and stuff like that, she would start to get really, really nauseous to the point of throwing up. She is on anti-anxiety medication for that reason. There are medications out there to help with that. If you need to take other medications, you can take like Tums, or not Tums, but like medications like that to help out. The shaking, again, it's going to be something that you have to like pull yourself together. You have to physically will yourself to pull yourself together to get out of that. Okay? Emotional responses that you're going to have is intense panic, anger, overwhelming sadness, or numbness. Depends on what the trigger is, okay? You're going to go through a cluster of emotions, okay? It's okay. These emotions are okay to feel. It's not a bad thing. And there's my daughter. Your mental state. Now, this is what's really, 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 really key, is that you have got to be really set in your mental state. And what I mean by that is that you're going to have a feeling of losing touch with reality. You're going to have flashbacks or feelings disconnected from the body. So you're going to kind of like, especially whenever intense panic, you're going to lose touch with the reality that you're in. You're going to see things differently, okay? You're going to, you're not going to be in your body. You're going to want to get away. You're going to want to run away. That's where you're going to really like start to like disassociate, which is just like, you know, doom scrolling or watching TV or trying not to actually deal with the emotion. You're going to find any way to deal with it, but actually dealing with it. So with this in mind, anything can be a trigger. So people, sounds, smells, words, environmental situations, it does not matter. The sky's the limit. Anything can be a trigger. Okay? Why I say that is, let's see, let's use okay, so my most recent one. I struggle with, well, not anymore. I worked through it, but like I had a trigger of Ford F-150. Love you, babe. Have a good day at work. Yeah, you're good. Sorry. We have one car.
I didn't know if I was allowed to drive.
Yeah, you're good. I left it up front for you. Okay. So,
You're not learning one episode?
oh, that's right.
Because you said I wasn't allowed to drive for the week.
I had a relapse in my thought processes.
So I can drive.
No. My bad. I love you. We're gonna pause right here. Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, we're back. Okay. I don't even know where I was leaving off, but I feel like this might be where I'm gonna have to do two parts with this one, because of the fact that first you gotta understand what a trigger is, and then you gotta understand the 5 different kinds of triggers, like the 5 different kinds of reactions our body will go into whenever we are triggered. Okay, so triggers are good things. When you are triggered, it's important to understand what it means. It's like your biggest question that you should be asking when you have a trigger is, why does this bother me? Why is your best question to ever ask is, why? Why does this bother me? Best. You will, when you have these triggers, oh yeah, now I remembered what I was going with my triggers. See, I get there. The train eventually comes back around. It just takes a minute for it to go around. Triggers help you understand, because your body is automatically, your body remembers. Your body remembers everything. And so it's important to get those triggers out of your body. You need to be able to face them, face those fears, face that pain, and you need to be able to release it to make room for your blessings, for the new people, for whatever it may be. If you want those really good things, you got to get rid of the crap. Okay? No more crap. Those triggers that cause an automatic upset, they need to be gone. We need to get rid of them. So how do you do that? You got to learn what your triggers are. You got to face them. You got to deal with them. You got to like say, oh, that's a pain point. I need to do something about it. I need to understand, why is it bothering me? Why is it like affecting my body the way that it is? Why am I reacting this way? When you go deeper into your why and understand your why, then it's easier to let it go. Simple as that. I say simple. It's simple, but it's not easy. Okay? It's a simple concept, but it's difficult to do. Okay? So, for example, today, I was talking about the Ford F-150 crew cab truck. For me, that was a big one that I was dealing with, that my father drove one of those trucks. And so for me, automatically, my body sees or thinks of one of those, and I automatically get tense. I can feel my muscles tightening in that situation. There is still one for me that I know that it's going to take time because of the fact that how deep it is, but hotels. Hotels are still such a major trigger for me, because that's where also a lot of the trauma was done at. It was done in hotels. And so in my mind, I associate with hotels as being bad. And right now we're working on it. We're fixing it. So it's a work in progress. This is always going to be a work in progress. So do not think that it's going to be a one and done and you're all good. No, it is a lifelong process. And that's okay. Once you have a system down, once you learn how to do it, you can automatically do it. It's like your body will automatically find one. You analyze it, you fix it, you throw it away, and good things come in. You start to level up. You start to become more consistent with it. Your body will automatically just release it. And it's so crazy. It's so crazy how you can create a routine within your body to just let it go. So, like I said, for example, hotels are definitely still one that even when I think about a hotel, my breathing automatically. It's doesn't matter. If I think about a hotel, my body reacts. Doesn't matter. You just have to get more in tune with your body. So, I'm going to leave it at that one because we're already almost at 30 minutes. And I'm going to break it in half, and we're going to go over the 5 F's in the next video. Okay? So, I hope this helped. Please understand that it's like, if you want to get out of hell, you have to go through it first. Okay? If I can do it, you can do it. And I'm here for you. I'm here to show you the way through. Okay? I love you. You got this. Comment, like, subscribe. Please share the love. Whatever you want. Write in the comments below like what you're working on. Write a trigger that you're working on. Anything. Write a trigger that you've overcome. Whatever it may be. Just leave a comment. And subscribe, let's get this out there, because I know there's a lot of people that need this information. Not everybody goes searching for it. Sometimes it needs to just pop up on your page and you to be curious. Okay. Lots of love.